Number one, to get the best view of who's speaking, there is speaker view. So if you're new to Zoom and you see all the different tiles, it can be kind of distracting. So the best thing to do is click speaker view versus gallery view. That way when Art's speaking, you can just see Art. So that's number one. Number two, oh, here comes the bars again. Okay. Number two, our camping trip. We're doing the big changes going on a camping trip next week, taking IOP around the campfire. We're really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be on Wednesday, the 19th through Friday. And I just want to say thank you to those of you who have made donations to help make it possible. Thank you very much for your kindness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you supporting this event. And if there's any family members that would like to go, just message me or Shelly. Send us a private message and we can kind of talk about how we can ensure the safety and all that with the gathering. So we can just talk to you about that individually and we can get you the information that you need so you can be a part. And then just a heads up, our auction for 2020 planning has begun. We're having an auction meeting tomorrow, and I'm thinking after tomorrow we're going to have an exact date for everybody. So we're going to take it to online, of course, because of what we're dealing with right now, but we're super excited. We have some really, really great ideas that some of the board members last week brought to the table, and we're pretty excited about it. So just stay tuned. More information to come. It's going to be awesome. So anyways, that's all I've got. And with that, Art is in the house, coming live from the big house. And take it away, Art. Are you ready?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
We're ready. We're ready for whatever you got.
Well, my mother, she used to, on the days that we would have a lot of steak, we would have steak sometimes. And then if we had steak and then there was a lot of leftover steak, she would make vegetable beef soup. And I always liked that was coming. And then sometimes on Sundays we'd have roast. And then the roast would turn into Monday's French dips. And then if we had meatloaf, then it would turn into hot meatloaf sandwiches the next night, So she was always really good at making sure that with the leftovers got used. And it wasn't just like have to eat the same thing. It was like different, And it was just as good. If there was like a lot of extra chicken and it was on the bone or the turkey, then she would cut all that and debone the thing. And then the next time we'd have turkey soup or chicken soup.
All the time it's better.
Yeah. So this group is kind of like that. It's like a redo of kind of last week and a more discussion about it. But I'm going to season a bit, and hopefully you won't taste it like a leftover. You'll taste it like something new. So that's kind of what we're working with today. And, this whole thing, you guys, it all started with this idea. Come on in. Go over there and pinch. You sit next to Chris and just pinch him every time he falls asleep.
Fingers are going to sore.
Yeah. This whole idea started with this word mindfulness. We were back in, it was probably about 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and we heard the word mindfulness for the first time. And then I saw this Time, we close that there for now. I saw this Time magazine article and it said, they called it Mick mindfulness. So it was like mindfulness came over from the Eastern cultures or whatever, and there's Western cultures, Eastern cultures, and then America made it into McDonald's instead, and just kind of simplified it and turned it into McMindfulness. But mindfulness was just this idea, and we adopted this idea that you could just pay attention. That was what it was. So it was like, hey, just pay attention, wake up. Pay attention to what? Well, not pay attention to that, or pay attention to everything out there. Pay attention to what she said, or pay attention to what he said, or pay attention to television program. It was pay attention to your experience. As a human being, start paying attention to your experience. Just pay attention to it. Pay attention to how you feel, and pay attention to your muscles, and pay attention. Just sit and pay attention. And we're always doing this thing where we're trying to avoid paying attention. And so it started there, and then it went a little further, and then we start reading Eckhart, and Eckhart said, well, you should really try to be in the now. So that was a kind of a good idea. But that's where we first started seeing that, well, I'm trying to pay attention, I'm trying to be in the now. Well, there's some difficulty that's going to arise, and it's just purely simplified, just try to be in the now. But what you can see is that, go ahead, try to do it. And if you try to do it and you don't come to this understanding that it's extremely difficult, so now you're paying attention and trying to be in the now, and it's like, Jesus, what do I pay attention to, and how do I touch this thing? See, I always seem to have this affliction to the now. I always have this disagreement with it. So I started realizing really early on that I got this, it's easy, I can breathe and I can be there, but for most of my days, I got kind of an affliction now. I'm always trying to run from it. I'm trying to feel that or do that or get out of it, and I'm never trying to really touch it. So it starts with paying attention, but then nobody ever really told me, hey, pay attention to what? Nobody ever told me to pay attention to anything. And I always heard the words pain, and I heard the words love, and I heard all that kind of stuff, but I never really understood what people were talking about. I heard the word trauma, and I didn't hear what people were talking about, and I heard the word love, and I didn't know what people were talking about, and I heard all these stuff, and I just didn't know really, I just didn't understand it. And then I always heard that I was insecure, and that's why I was angry, or I was upset, and that because I was insecure, I was upset, or I was fearful, and I didn't get it. I truly didn't get it. I didn't understand. No, I'm not insecure. You are. I'm totally secure. Look at me. And it was always like that. So what really showed up, though, is that, one, I was having this difficulty poking, like actually coming through and touching the current moment. There was always shit in the way. Let's see that. So then you start paying attention. You start paying attention to that stuff that's in the way, because you're trying to kind of clear it out. You're trying to touch this moment, and there's stuff in the way. It's in your experience that it's in the way. It's not out there in the way. It's not like a divider or a door or something. It's like in here that it's in the way. It's all in the way. And so you start like looking for what's in the way. So that becomes difficult because there's a lot of stuff in the way. There's just stuff in the way. There's memories, and there's thoughts, and there's past, and there's worry, and there's future, and there's what is this, and all that stuff just builds up, and it's all in the way. And then I started looking at pain. Well, what is this pain? I'm in pain. What does it mean? And so the first thing I want to do is I just want to stop. When we sit here and we talk about pain, I don't think that I really want to give you a picture of where we're getting pain from. And it's not pain individualized. It's not pain from when I was a child, this guy touched me, or pain from the neighbor was mean, or I was bullied. It's not that. It's the aggregate. So the first thing I want you to know is that our pain is the aggregate. It's all of it. It's just an overall fear. And second of all, our pain isn't pain. It's not physical. It's just this feeling of always being scared. Well, what are we scared of? We live this illusion that there is ease around the corner. So we just constantly live this illusion that I'm going to be at ease tomorrow after I finish this. And I'm going to be at ease after I get this amount of money. And I'm going to be at ease. And see, there's the pain that starts to build up because we never get there. So it's just this constant thing of never getting at ease. We're just constantly trying to get at ease, and we never get there. So it's just this, how can that not build up as trauma? Just this feeling. And then here we are, a group of beings, and we're all here, and we're trying to avoid dying, which is going to happen for sure. So now we got trying to avoid dying, and we've got trying to get at ease, and we've got constantly looking out for a new threat, everything. Oh no, the bills aren't going to get paid, and people aren't going to like me, and they're going to find out this about me, and they're going to find out I really like this, but I told them I didn't, and they're going to, once they know who I am, they're all going to leave. And so that buildup of all that, that's the pain. That's the insecurity. isn't whether I think I'm cool or not. It's just huge buildup of just constant stuff that's just never right, over and over and over again, and it just wears on us. This always living our life on the lookout so we can watch out for danger with this hand, because there's always danger, and somebody's going to screw us, and somebody's going to cheat us, and somebody's going to hurt us, and there's that hand we're working with, and then with this hand we're like trying to get at ease. So it's that constant stuff of always. So when we say pain, that's just what it is. You're not going to figure it out. So when I say our pain and insecurities meet the world, I'm saying it's all of it. There's no investigation necessary. There's no getting down to the day and the event and the day and the event and backtracking it. It's not necessary. It's always there. It's just all of it, the aggregate. So now when somebody is talking to us and we feel that the threat is real and we start getting angry, but really we're scared, like, why is that? Why can't we say to each other, see, we haven't learned as human beings to say, I want you to know why I'm scared right now. We don't say that to each other. We don't say, hey, I'm scared. We don't take stock in that. So we're not paying attention close enough to our experience to really feel the fear inside of our body. Instead, we just jump to blame. So now we just jump to blame and say, we don't say I'm scared. We say, stop doing that. We say, I'm pissed at you. I'm upset with you. You're doing that. You need to stop. And it's never, oh, wow, look. See, if I pay attention to what it all boiled down to that. If I can read, and it boiled down to this, if I could just forget paying attention to this and this and this and all of it, now boil it down to just paying attention to this meeting place. Pay attention to the meeting place, well, where it is, where our insecurities and all of it meet the world. Pay attention to that. So now if we could forget mindfulness, I'm not going to be mindful and watch the television program mindfully. And I'm not talking about mindfully cutting the carrot, which is all fine. And I'm not talking about which is important later. You know, mindfully do this and mindfully do this and eat and know you're eating and walk and know you're walking and sit and know you're sitting and all that. That's all good stuff. But what if you haven't paid attention to this meeting place? Then you will be trying to eat, but the pain and insecurities will cause this uprising and you won't be able to be now. And you'll be trying to walk, but somebody will be in your way and that'll piss you off, so you'll come out again. So when you pay attention mindfully to this experience of your insecurities and all your fears and all of it meeting the world, and then what happens to you? See, there's none of it. There's nothing to pay attention to until that happens. So once that happens and you begin to get upset and you begin to leave now and go somewhere else, what really happens is all of it starts happening. Resentment, anger, jealousy, envy, rage, wanting. All that happens after. You see? So if you don't pay attention to that, you'll miss it. You'll miss it. And you'll just now be trying to pay attention to all the shit. And you'll never get clear. So this thing of seeing, if you can just pay attention to, okay, well, I was fine and now I'm judging. Or maybe I'm judging and that's causing this inner experience. But this is what mindfulness, paying attention, that's all we're doing is paying attention. And then you pay attention to this. If you look really closely throughout your day, you're just going to see the push and pull. You're just going to feel the push and pull of not getting our way and getting our way, and what they said hitting and what he said hitting, and I don't like what's on the TV, and I don't like what you're doing, and I wish it would go this way. And then sometimes it goes our way and we feel okay and there's no pull. And then all of a sudden it's just different. And then as human beings, if we can just get to a place where we can stop saying, I'm mad at you, because you're not. You're scared. The other person has become a threat to you. The energy is kind of rising inside of you. The fear is there. If we could just change our language as human beings and just go, I'm upset, I must be scared, here it is, there's all of it. And rather than saying I'm angry, just look down and go, oh, there I am, I'm scared. And you'll feel it every time. You will feel that you're scared. You can now you just start sitting with that fear. Here it is. Here's what it feels like to be scared. Pay attention to it. Same thing with anxiety. You know, anxiety, like you said today, is so closely related to happiness and excitement. But why do we push away the anxiety so much? So we just learned to pay attention. We just learned, and then pay attention to this meeting place. I was fine a minute ago. I was able to be in the now. I was able to pay attention, and then I lost it. Well, why'd you lose it? Because you were scared. And you fell into the fear. And there it is. See, right at that meeting place, you have the two things. You can either say, I'm scared, or you can go into anger. If you go into anger, there's everything that'll come along with it. Blame, accusations, threats, defense. And whenever we go in there and we go into anger, the other person goes into anger, and there we go. Now we're blaming each other. Now we're fighting. There's defensiveness and walls that show up then. And so it started with just paying attention. And as we begin to pay attention and really try to burst through and do be in the now, there was a whole, see, whenever I tell people, hey, try to be in the now, I always can't wait for this expectation. I always expect it, and I know somebody's doing it. If they're trying to be present, they're trying to pay attention, the next question should arise. And they should just raise their hand and say, yes, but I can't. And see, that's what starts the work right there, is when you say, I want to be now, but I can't. And then you raise your hand and you say, how do you do it? And then there's the work. And there's the work. And now all of a sudden we went from these drug addicts and these people that the only way that we could connect with the current moment was to get high and do drugs. And then we got sobriety kind of came up. The experience of sobriety came up. And now here we are not being able to find ease and find peace. And so now we're looking for it. And then all of a sudden you try to be now, but then you see the real difficulty. It's you. It's not really you. It's just all that protection from all the stuff, all that blame and all those complaints and all that anger and all that just, it's always a complaint too. You know, there it is. Something just ain't right. Art, if you fix this, I will be at ease. It's not me. It's that. And the E, that's the trauma of life. Always just thinking that ease is around the corner. Never taking it on ourselves to make ease happen. So we live at this dis-ease. And we find things to bring the ease. We find a drink, or we find drugs, or we find video games, or we find people, or we find sex, or we find something. That's traumatic. Constantly thinking the ease is around the corner, constantly going for it. So the mechanics of this, that's what we're working on. If you don't understand the mechanics, then all you got to do is pay attention to that meeting place. Just see it. And then even if you just try to be now for a second, you go, wow, I can't. Well, now just start looking. See what's in the way. See that it's difficult. Don't say you're doing it. You're not. If you're not asking me or asking the world or asking yourself, why is this so hard, then you're not doing the work. Because it ain't easy. He just puts it out there in the book, Power of Now. Go ahead and be now. Go ahead. Good luck. It's not easy. There is massive amount of work to do. It's not just the breath. The breath happens, but what if all this stuff's still there? Yeah, I can't let go. There it is, hanging on. Or there's, I want that, or I don't want that. So now it's like desire, aversion, neutrality here. You're just going all these different ways, pushing and pulling. So I just kind of wanted to dissect this, because it's not, I think a lot of people, when they hear me say pain, they think that I mean like you had to have some big trauma. No, I'm just talking about everyone. I'm not talking about you folks, or I'm not talking about them, or I'm talking about everyone. You know, the guy that's doing road rage today, he just will not acknowledge that he's scared. He doesn't pull up next to the other guy and go, hey man, you really scared me. He says, I'm going to kill you. Don't ever do that again. Like they're going to meet again and drive next to each other. That was what the guy said to me on the Pack Highway. It was awesome. Just pulls up next to me. He goes, "Don't do that again." Okay. I pulled out in front of him, like we were gonna meet more in our life again or something. He goes, "Don't do that again." I go, "I won't. Sorry."
Then I bet that made him mad.
Yeah. The road rage, and the guy can't admit he's scared. A father yelling at his son, and he can't admit he's scared. Husband and wife yelling at each other, and they can't admit they're scared. So we yell, and we don't admit we're scared. Instead, we blame. And what if two people that got scared could just pull back and go, "Wow, I'm scared right now. I can feel it. I can feel the tension in my body. I can feel the threats. It's almost like the boogeyman's coming to get me." And they both just acknowledge, "Wow, we're both scared." See, at that acknowledgement that they go, boy, I feel all my pain and all my insecurities, and both of them acknowledge it, then they could just both talk and work it out. Let's just work it out. I'm scared, you're scared. You want to just work it out? You know what I mean? So awesome, you know? Hey, I'm scared, you're scared, you know? 2 men at work. What if you saw that? 2 men at work are yelling at each other over the job site.
They just put the tools down.
They
Start talking.
They just go, "Well, we're both scared. You want to work it out?" Then somebody goes, "I didn't even know Larry and Mike were gay." They hug. Oh, and that's what we're afraid of. That if we're working it out with another man, somebody's going to go, "You're," you know. No, we got to look cool. "Well, why are you so angry?" "Because Mike's fucking wrong." I'm right. It's ridiculous. And what a better thing to do if you could just tell your loved ones, "Hey, I was upset. Totally scared. I was so scared I didn't even feel it. I started blaming you." I went right past that meeting point. I went right into blaming you. The humility just acknowledge that. I was scared and insecure. I missed that part. Kept it from here up and just went right at you. So anyways, I hope we have some questions tonight, and I really want to dissect and get into the mechanics of what we're doing here, and you know, you just kind of try to break through and touch now and see the difficulty of it and pay attention and work it out. But nobody ever told me what to pay attention to, so I was missing it. I was just trying to pay attention. Well, if you don't pay attention to that meeting place where you go from set to upset, that meeting place where you go from ease to dis-ease, if you don't pay attention to that transition, then you're just going to miss it. And you're going to be in blame, and then you're just going to go, "I'm blaming right now." I know. So it's this, you know. But what a good thing to do. We stop paying attention to the outer world. Not like neglectfully. And I don't talk about pain because we want to get to a world of sympathy. This isn't about sympathy or enabling or anything like that. This is about each one of us doing our part. This is about each one of us bucking up and quit transferring it to each other. I'll eat mine, you eat yours, man. There you go. You'll say when you're scared and insecure, I'll say when I'm scared and insecure. Rather than me yelling at you and then you saying it's me and me saying it's you and us defending each other, I'll just admit mine and you admit yours, and we'll quit transferring this shit back and forth. It's beautiful. But you got to start with that one bite. You got to start with the first time. You feel all the upset and you feel all the rising, and then you just sit there and you go, "Wow, I'm scared right now." He's right. I felt it in my muscles. I felt the jolt. There it is. What did you have to say again?
Is it like too late if you already passed that point? And like you start getting mad or whatever it is, like can you stop and like think at that point?
No, that's beautiful. What if she's asked if it was too late after you already start getting mad and after you do that? No, it's never too late. It's better if you can lean back at that meeting place and handle it all. But it's also better. It's also good if you just, after you go past that point, if you got the humility to get out of blame. If you got the humility to just go, I missed it. I was scared, missed it. Then the fight's over, right? But if you stay righteous and stay blaming and say, no, it's you, and somebody goes, I think maybe you were scared and insecure. You go, no, you just shouldn't have done that. Then there's no working it out. There's no going anywhere with that. So it's so beautiful because at any point you can improve it. You might not, you might not get anything, but you can improve it. A vast improvement on before. And that's the humility. The humility, it's either humility or righteousness. It's either judgment or love. It's either you're all right and I love you, or it's either you're all wrong and I hate you. So if we can look at everybody in this room and go, man, every time you're right, I love you, then why wouldn't it be on me to consider you right? It's the only way. But you see, when you're wrong, it's just because I don't feel good in here. And when I don't feel good in here, this thing starts complaining about you. Now I hate.
Make me look bad.
Yeah, you're making me look bad. So there's all times you can improve the quality of the experience at any time by just noticing the experience rather than being it. So you stop and you go, whoa, I got angry for a second. I lost it. Then you take a breath and go, okay, I was scared, missed it. Amazing. But some people, they can't go there and just take that breath. So rather they stay in righteousness. They just stay right. You're wrong. When are you going to make it up to me? What are you going to do to fix this? And then the righteousness just grows and it just feels better and you get more alone, but it feels like you're winning. Doesn't it feel like we're winning when we're right? Almost. There's such an illusion. No, I'm winning. I'm right. Well, who's in your life? Well, nobody. I'm alone. Oh. Okay. How's it going? You see any questions, Ange?
Not yet, but heads up, if you have a question, you can raise your arm feature or get my attention some way, and we'd love to get some shares and interaction and questions, thoughts.
Why don't you go lay down, Chris? You can lay down. You're all right. Any of you guys got questions?
Jeffrey has a question. Let me unmute you, Jeffrey, if I can. Or you might need to unmute yourself. Jeffrey, can you unmute yourself?
Yep, I'm unmuted. Thank you, Angie.
Hey there.
Hey, guys. Good to see the house, guys. I still recognize quite a few faces there. I remember that couch in that corner. I'd sit there with the window and the fan because I wasn't a vapor. I see the cook there, a couple guys down. Art, great to see you, man. I'm sorry I've missed out a few meetings. It's very comfortable hearing your voice. Your program, as I call it, I was there 73 days, and I personally, I think I graduated, and now I'm with Emily's house, 6 of us here at the Sober House on 30th Avenue, about 2 or 3 miles from Art's big house. I just want to just comment, he mentioned alone. Now, I know when I first started getting sober again, I chose to be alone because there's too many personalities and too many things to absorb when you're realizing sobriety with your personal challenges, speaking about me anyway. So my first go-to was to be alone. Even though isolation is a trigger for me, I stayed alone in the house as much as I could to try to absorb everything. And then I eventually came out of my shell and talked to people. But my go-to initially was to be alone, not to isolate, just to, be safe and try to figure out everything that I'm learning. I guess I'm kind of a slow learner. Too many personalities at once, especially with 20 plus people. I'm glad we had a lot of meetings to get me out of that shell. So Art, I really give you a lot of kudos for my sobriety now. It's been a couple 3 months, and I have no urges, nothing. I got plenty of people to contact. Your house was definitely a jump start if anybody's thinking about it or been there or are there. That house, it's not perfect, but it worked for me. I've done the Salvation Army 6 months twice by choice, 5 inpatients, 1 outpatient, and Art's program really worked. I wish I was 21, but I'm telling you this at 52. So Art, kudos to you, man. I miss you guys, and good luck for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeffrey.
You know, dealing with our pain in early sobriety, or whatever you call it, the experience, it doesn't matter. You don't have to take it all on at once. You don't have to be around everybody at once. You just got to walk forward. It's just like lifting weights. You just take a little bit more every day, and it doesn't matter. 1 person, 2 people. It just matters which direction you're going. We've all been on the other downslide where we had people and we started going the other way. And this is a slow build. You got the rest of your life. You just make this kind of commitment to, I'm going to have these people in my life, and I'm not going to leave the relationship in righteousness. And all of a sudden, 1 by 1, you just got another person in your life. It just builds and builds. Almost everybody that's come into my life in sobriety is still here. And almost everybody that was in my life in my addiction is gone. It's pretty telling. So now as this slow build has been going on, it's just 1 by 1, another person, another contact in the phone. You don't lose the relationship through righteousness or being right. You just forgive and work it out. And you build it up. All of a sudden, you got 500 contacts, and you can call any one of them for a ride, but you won't need to because you got your own car. You can borrow money from 500 people that you won't want to because you have to pay it back. You'll have good credit. You won't even need to use it. I have good credit, and I don't want to use it. It just puts me in debt. You know? It's just a slow build. Go ahead.
We've got Stephen Birdie. Go ahead, guys. Let's get you unmuted.
So mine was when one of the people from the big house was talking about if you didn't meet right away. It seems to me that when I didn't meet right away and I let it continue, it took, at least at the beginning, I guess, I really had to realize that I had to have more energy. It almost took more energy. I don't know if that makes sense or not, to get myself back into the game again, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. It takes a picking up of, once you pick up that blame, it's so difficult to let it go. You know, it's not, you know, with this, if you could lean back before and just right there at that moment where you feel the fear and you feel the thing and you don't go to blame, if you can stay right there, then forgiveness in your life is never necessary. Not for you, but for others. You know, forgiveness becomes unnecessary because they didn't do anything but scare you. And you're only scared because you're insecure. And then all of a sudden it's like, thank you. Rather than, I need to try to forgive you for what you've done. So it's such a backtrack that's hard. But the humility to stop it is the beautiful point, even though, I mean, it's like losing your footing and going down a mountain. I mean,
yeah.
You know, if you just get down there at the bottom and stay in pity, well, that's not going to do anything. But if you walk back up, it might teach you to not fall again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, go to mute.
All right, who's next? Just click the raise your hand feature or wave your arms. Man, I have to mention there's just so many couples. It's so beautiful to look at the sea of squares here and see so many couples here sitting together in their living rooms,
Square.
listening in. So beautiful. I see Kathy and Jim White's in the house. Hey,
You know,
guys.
all the drugs don't mean they're squares.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Dave and Pam Sampalia,
Imagine the weird shit they're all doing.
yeah.
Jane and Bruce from Oregon, Josh and Melinda.
Oh, you
Calling y'all out.
shit do you do?
Come on, guys. Who's next? Chris and Lori Dersh, Mary and Ron Barr. All you single people, too. It's all good. Rachel Wade's here tonight. Rachel, good to see ya.
The whips.
You should probably mute it.
Yeah.
More fun this way.
Oh, Roger Holman, go ahead. Let's get you unmuted.
Okay, I just had a question for Jeffrey. Did he say he was 52?
Yeah, I'm 52. I turned 52 July 25th, but I still feel 21 because I lost about 30 years to my drug of choice.
The question I have for you is, how did you fit in?
Oh, couldn't hear through. Yeah, say that again, Roger.
How did you fit in with the much younger age group?
I don't know their slang, but we got along great. I was old enough to be a lot of their dads. I don't have any kids myself. But I think because I was honest with everybody, and I sure as hell didn't, I never brought up age, but they called me old man a couple of times or something like that. But it was never a hurtful demeanor. It was more like I was fitting in and they were just saying stuff like they would out of respect for an older person. And like I said, again, I don't feel 52. I feel 21, but they all treated me very cool. I knew I was the oldest one. I'm not in denial of that. I wish I was 21, but they made me feel young. I wasn't as active as they were physically, but it was neat to be the older guy. We had more adversity, not in a bad way, but we had more age difference, and I think it rounded everything out a little bit too. It kind of helped everybody. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I think being older there kind of helped the whole age thing a little more than just the same kind of age, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. Plus the male and female thing helps a lot. I've been in men-only treatment centers before, and I really appreciated the younger people in there. I didn't feel bad. It's just what it is, and I'm really glad for that program. Thank you.
If you were in this room right now, Jeffrey, you'd feel a tremendous amount of love for you. There's a lot of love in this room for you right now.
I miss it. I miss it. I want to come back there next Tuesday. I wore a mask and everything. I've been COVID tested a couple of times, and I'm clear. I've got a procedure coming up tomorrow because of my age. Anyway, I'd love to come back, Art, anytime. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Beautiful. I can feel the love from here. Awesome.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Awesome. Thanks, Roger. Anything else, Roger?
Well, the reason I was asking, of course, is my son is going on 38 and nowhere near the big house or anything yet. So I just wanted to see if it was, if anybody else had been that old going through the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the answer.
Yeah. I'm going through right now, yeah. 46.
Yeah.
Art didn't get sober until he was 37, so.
Well.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time. Well, we're going to get that boy, Roger. We're going to get that boy. Oh, we missed something good. What did we miss?
I said Matt Washington's in the house, and he's like 63 now, so. Yeah.
I'm like that.
Yeah.
All right, this
you know?
Stampalians are next. Let's get you unmuted. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Hi,
guys. Nightmare.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
Oh,
uncustomary quiet.
Sorry, hold on one sec, guys. Let's.
Glad we got you on the line. I was just going to ask for some more dough.
Let's mute everybody except the Stampalias. All right, guys. Dave and Pam, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, yes, as I said, we've been uncustomarily quiet for a long time, but I think it's time for us to come out of our shell and thank both of you for everything. And you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So that's all that matters. We've sat back, and at least I have, and I'm still trying to understand. Going from that first meeting that we had, where I thought I understood, and the only thing that I understand now is how little I understood back then. And I'm like a flower. I'm starting to open up a little bit, and I'm starting to connect the dots here and there. One of the things that I've been thinking about is all of the pressure that's placed on everyone there in the outside world. There's pressure created by friends, pressure created by society, pressure created in the news, just everywhere you turn. It's tough enough when you're firing on all cylinders, but when you've got things that are holding you back that in some ways you don't have a lot of control over, I'm interested to understand how we deal with the variety of pressure that hits these folks on a daily basis.
That's really, really insightful, and it's true. I don't want to tell anyone here about it, but because they'll use it against me. But it is very true, and the metrics and the way we're measuring success and all of it is so dysfunctional, and it's been dysfunctional for a long time, and that's part of our mission, is change that dysfunction. I mean, as we sit here today, we have a bunch of people, and if we can nail down what it is, that we do these drugs and this stuff because we have an inability to sit with our insecurities and fears, which I believe to be true. And if we know that that is the root, and then we do drugs to solve that, and then, then it would be, well, I have this inability to eat my pain. I have an inability to sit with pain. And then the measurement is, well, in 60 days, you should be here. And then if you're not here, you're failing. And if you are here, well, how do I know what your pain is compared to my pain, and how long it's going to take me to start eating this quantity, and what's the measurement? And then we measure success for a drug addict with something called time. Like, well, you've been clean for this long, and I've been clean for this long. So it's a very odd metric. Or we measure it whether somebody has a car or a job. And it would be like if you went to the gym and said, well, I have an inability to lift weight or lose weight. I'm overweight, or I can't lift very much weight. And then you do 3 months at the gym and somebody goes, well, how are you doing here? How's your program going? And then you go, I'm doing great. I got a car. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. Or I'm doing great. I got a job. Well, shit, what about the 300 pounds? Well, that's still there. I got a job. Well, what about the fact that you can't lift any weight? Well, I still can't. You got a job? And that's the pressures that society puts, because they just don't understand what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
So rather than a discussion between family members about all of us learning to not dump pain on each other, we come up with a discussion about a competition about stuff. Well, he's not doing very good. He doesn't have any stuff yet. Well, how much stuff does he have? Well, not enough. Well, how much stuff does your son have? He's got a lot. Oh, shit. My son's got to work on it. It's crazy. So why not put the discussion on the proper metrics? How are you accepting life? How are you able to handle failure? How are you able to handle not getting your way? See, that's what we measure it on here. So the pressure is just because of a failed metric system. Go to treatment, do 30 days in this phase, and then 60 days in this phase, and then, you'll do 6 months in phase 3, and then you're a graduate. It's an absolutely psychotic way to even think of anything. Some people have been doing drugs for 50 years. Well, that might be a little slower of a process compared to an 18-year-old kid. I don't know. Might not. It might be reversed. That 18-year-old kid might have been hurt and traumatized and left and abandoned. And the 50-year-old person might have not had it very difficult. I don't know. And that might not even be the thing. It might just be different for everyone. Everybody wants change for others at a rapid pace. Everybody wants other people to change very rapidly, while ignoring our own. It's beautiful though. You guys are getting it. I mean, it's not a fix.
No.
It's a family journey. Yeah.
Really
It's not
beautiful.
rehab. We're not going to rehab them. This ain't rehab. Rehab's for a car. Rehab's for a hurt knee. Yeah, rehab's for a bad back. This is treatment. We're going to treat each other. And I'm not the only one doing the treatment. You guys are treating each other. Everybody here is treating. We're all doing treatment. Our whole life is treatment. How is your family's treatment program? How does your family sit around and treat each other? So that's all we're talking about is treatment. Well, we can all do better at that. And this is the formula. This is the formula. The way I can treat another human being better is I can eat bigger and bigger quantities of my insecurities, and I can get rid of them. Quit running the con job. How long are you going to run the con job that you're not scared? They're wrong. That don't work around here no more. You can try to tell me you're not scared. I can see the veins in your neck pulsing out. Scared as hell. Call that anger if you want. It's not. You're scared and you're blaming everyone. And then you want to look real cool, so you just try to dominate. It looked real cool, father yelling at all his kids, telling them to shut up. It looks real cool. Except when you see it for what it is, that he's scared. Not scared for his kids either, scared for what he looks like in the world. So he's yelling. When I'm yelling, I'm scared 100% of the time.
That's a very true statement.
Yeah. There's so much better of a thing to say. I'm not mad at you, I'm scared. Well, there it is. It's all over. We don't need to fight. We work it out.
Well, just keep pinching Chris.
I was thinking of something else.
Hey, I'm glad I got you on the line. I'm glad I got you here. Your kid is a nightmare. We're just going to ask for a couple more checks to be put in the mail, and then we'll keep it. Yeah. No, I'm not. Don't laugh. You got to write. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a question here.
That was great, guys. Thanks so much. Okay, go for it. Straight from the big house.
Okay.
Make 'em
Angel
talk.
from the big house.
Who?
Angel.
Great.
Go ahead.
Talk loud, Angel. We want to hear you.
We're all here and we're all like learning this. But I know that like when I get out there, there's going to be somebody out there that is going to like, we're not going to agree on something and they're going to get mad at me and they're going to start yelling at me. And even if I sit there and I'm like, okay, and I just eat it, like, do I try to figure out how to like make them eat it, I guess? Or do I just sit and like take it?
What a great question, man. She asked a phenomenal question. She said that we're all here and we're all learning this stuff. So we kind of, if you're in this kind of environment, maybe we're taking it easy on each other. And maybe you've got some accountability and everybody's kind of taking it easy. And then you go back to the real world and nobody's taking it easy or nobody else is practicing. So it becomes difficult. And that is a phenomenal question because I can tell you, I can break it down into layers why it's such a good question, but it really is. And the answer, there is an answer. And the answer is action. And seeing that somebody else that the failure isn't that you're being yelled at and that maybe you do eat it or you don't eat it. It's this realization that all the mistakes that have ever had, all the regret in your life, all the things you've ever done that have hurt you at a job or hurt you with your family or hurt you with people or set you back in the relationship, all come when you do an action from that state where that person is yelling back and then you get scared but don't acknowledge you're scared, and now you try to jump and stop them. So it's like domination response by domination. So now two people trying to dominate. And so what if you have this capacity now to not go back with the domination? Somebody's trying to dominate you. Okay. That's what they're trying to do. And you're able to sit with it, breathe, and not in a smug way. See, the important thing is that we can't do this in a smug way. So we don't breathe and go, and if there's smugness along, they're going to see it. But what if you breathe with humility and sit there and just go, okay, and you're able to eat it and wait and don't respond until it all passes. Not smugly go, I just don't want to talk right now. Not smugly like any of that. And not smug like, I'm calm. Why are you yelling at me? None of that. No defense. None of that stuff. You just breathe and go, okay, let me think about this for a second. Let me look. And that's it. And now you stop the pain transfer. And all of a sudden, power gravitates to you because the other person sees it. So they see that they didn't affect you in that normal way that humans are affected. You didn't get defensive. You didn't fire back. You didn't accuse. You just said, let me look at that. And you develop this enormous power, whether you're being yelled at by a boss or yelled at by somebody, and then you just go, hey. And maybe even you've done something wrong and you're being yelled at, and then you just go, I'm sorry. Like something crazy like that. Like you just develop this ability to go, I get that and maybe you see that you're scaring the other person even go that far. Oh, wow. I'm scaring them. Hey, easy, are you okay? Not even in a smart ass way. But just take it upon yourself to see that when somebody's yelling at you, you've done something to instill fear in them. And now you can even go a deeper way with that. Like, wow, maybe it's upon me always to make sure people are at ease around me. Make sure it doesn't. And when a situation starts to arise, if I remain calm, it doesn't escalate. Learning de-escalation. Easy. Easy. You see? We just had the most beautiful scenario. Mike just did it, I get this beautiful call of like a high anxiety situation. Mike texts out and says, there's a really bad situation happening at one of the houses. Somebody's high and they've got a weapon. Now that's going to instill fear in anyone. Yeah. We don't call the cops though, because they're not very helpful in these kind of situations we found. They tend to escalate it. And this is one of our own. So there's no calling the cops. And so I'm 5 minutes away and I pull into the house. And by the time I get there, there's one of our other clients just with their arm around him. And Mike's got the weapon out of the person's hand. And they're just calmly holding him there on the couch. And the house is quiet. And I went, this is what it's all for right here. No fighting. Nobody gets hurt. Just Mike, this practitioner of what we're doing here, learning to de-escalate. See, he could only do that if he could deal with his fears first. It was fucking gorgeous. It really was. It was like, can you imagine anywhere in the news, anywhere, person high on drugs holding knife? And then what the response normally is to that?
Danger.
Yeah. Bring the weapons. Shoot him.
We had to even tell the guys you could see the people at the hospital, like some of the nurses, I told them, they asked, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a mad thief this is how he reacts to it, and like they see the way he is, and they always want to restrain him, and they're just like so forceful. I said, look, he's nonviolent.
Yes.
He just wants a hug.
Yes.
You had me back out of the room, and he feels comfortable with me, and so like, because the security's like, you got to get his arm, and they're just like so forceful, and I'm like, look, you guys just calm down. And so the female nurse just goes, hey, it's okay. We're gonna, we're trying to help, and all of a sudden you just see him, and he just like relaxes.
Beautiful.
And he lets him, and it was just like, you could see the fear though.
Yeah.
We've got a couple. It looks like we have a couple. Jeffrey, did you have another question?
Yeah, I'll be real brief.
Oops. Oh,
Okay,
Jeffrey.
sorry. One of the best things art taught me, among many things that I still use, is that very simple. I went for a couple-hour walk today. I always do down at the marina, and I got a procedure tomorrow. And my anxiety, I sat down on the bench and I thought about Art, not because he's pretty, because he's not. But I thought, hey Jeffrey, take a breath. And that was the first time at about 5 o'clock today that I sat down and took a deep breath, and it just put everything in a nice, calm perspective. I don't meditate too much. I'm not religious, but I'm not non-religious. But that breath thing is one of the things I definitely use as a tool out here in the real world. So it is a shelter there to take advantage of it, because it's all waiting for everybody, as you all know. But that breath thing really works for me. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Hey, Nat, did you unmute yourself because you have a question? Or was that an accident?
Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, Nat.
Hi.
Good to see you on again. Really, really great.
Yeah, wait. Say hi.
I'm looking for your screen. Where are you?
Oh my God.
Right here.
Oh, there. Oh.
She's got boxing gloves on.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he scratches his face, but we're about to start scrapping in a minute here, so
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gorgeous.
Awesome. All right. Michelle Burchette, go ahead. Let's get you unmuted.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So I just wanted to piggyback off of what Jeffrey had mentioned about mindfulness. Now, I'd never heard of mindfulness or being present until I returned to Art's house back in 2015. And I remember one time he talked about being present was what we sought for or searched for when we got high. Now, I know that that's true today. I understand that today. I didn't understand it. In fact, it took a long time for me to start to really to even admit that I was afraid of everything. I was literally terrified, and I didn't know that about myself until I got clean and sober, and then started to get into recovery and start to go through the process of doing the work. My head, I told myself all these lies for so many years, and I think a lot of it was just survival. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that for me was the first place that I'd ever heard about being present and being in the moment. And it's something I'm still learning. It's something I practice, and it's something I talk with my sponsor today with. We talk about that all the time because I know that I've experienced being present, being right in the moment. And it's those moments where I'm not afraid, where I'm not worried, and they're brief. And so it's an ongoing thing for me, but I'm on this path, and it's a beautiful life. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Well, it sure shows, Michelle.
Thank
Your
you.
beauty.
Thank you.
The boss. Look at her. She's in her office. Look at her.
Gorgeous.
I'm in my kitchen.
It looks like an office.
This is my kitchen.
Get
it is where I work.
Get your assistant to make you some coffee or something.
Yeah, he's
Where is
still
he?
working. He's still working.
All
Yeah.
right.
Good to
Thanks,
see you
Michelle.
guys. You're welcome.
All right.
There's the.
Who else? Who was that?
No, go ahead. There's the entry.
Say that again?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, let's keep this conversation going. Who's next?
Are you asking?
This is great.
You were talking about
Taylor is.
Yeah, you were talking about when you're in an like confrontation or whatever with somebody and
Okay.
you're scared or you're really scared but you act like you're mad. I've gotten to a point, like I said last night, I'm doing pretty good in my program where I can just sit with my pain and try not to put blame on others and taking my part in whatever it is. But until you talk tonight, I haven't realized that I can't vocalize and I'm scared. Like I'm afraid it's going to take the power away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got
Not
it.
necessarily give them the power, but just take it away.
So Taylor said that she has a hard time vocalizing that she's scared. Now, let's not say that we need to do that, but we need to feel the scared. And we need to feel it, and you don't have to tell the other person necessarily, but if you can just look and pay attention and just go, there's the fear he's talking about. I feel it. Yeah, it's just this personal thing where you just go, God, wow, there's fear. This, like Sam Harris said today, did you guys watch that video?
Yes.
Yeah, he said the half-life of negative emotions becomes very short, is what he said. See, when you pay attention, the half-life of these emotions, we begin to shorten it. And that's what we're doing. So with this paying attention, we begin to shorten the time that anger is present by noticing anger. We begin to shorten the time that resentment is present by noticing resentment. This noticing shortens the negative emotions. Anxiety, depression, there it is. Sadness, there it is. See, as soon as you say it, there's sadness. You're not sad anymore. So you just end it. Oh, and then then anger turns into fear, and if you just say, I'm scared, then anger's over. Done. We're so used to just being satisfied with our minds, like this is just all we have. Like this is just how I'm gonna be. Rather than seeing that just right now, after tonight, we can improve it. Yeah. Okay. You just begin to look at it. And again, it starts with, what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to your bills, your job, your coworkers, your car? Of course, we pay attention to those things, but this is first. You have to pay attention to the problem first to ever get even close to the solution. So you have to pay attention to the middleman here, you. And then you just really see it. And that's it. And all of a sudden, you've got this work starts happening of not being a certain way, but seeing that you're a certain way. And once you see that you're a certain way, you don't have to be that way. Oh, there it is. I don't have to be angry anymore. I can see anger. I don't have to have anxiety anymore. I don't own anxiety. Seems like people that have anxiety, they like to own it. I own anxiety. I own it. It's all mine. You don't even have it. I get most of it. It's this ownership of it. How about you just look? There's anxiety. Leave it there. It feels a lot like you won the lotto. Look. Pay attention. Anxiety, excitement, anticipation. What about butterflies? I haven't felt those in a long time. I'd like to feel those. That's what he's saying today. Look at the butterfly. Oh, butterflies. I don't want butterflies. And now all of a sudden we're at a war with it, like he said. Why are we at a war with ourselves? Trying not to feel the experience because somebody told us that it was a negative experience? You believed it. Somebody told you sadness was bad. You've been running from it ever since. If they would have told you sadness is good, you'd be chasing it. Somebody told you anxiety was bad, so you've been running from it ever since. Don't have any anxiety. Don't do anything to cause anxiety. If they would have told you it was good, you've been trying to get it. You get born and you're 5 and somebody goes, anxiety's the best. You'd have bought into it. You've been chasing anxiety ever since. What are you doing? I'm trying to get anxious. I know. What are you doing? I'm trying to find some sadness, dude. Not enough sadness in this world. Instead, they told you happiness is good, so you're fucking chasing that like a rabbit for a carrot or some shit. What's the difference? Happiness, sadness. Ain't no difference. What's the difference? Anxiety, excitement. There ain't no difference. If you closed your eyes and did a blind taste test, you couldn't tell me the difference. The only difference is you resist one and sought out for the other. Stop seeking it. Stop running from it. Just sit there. There it is. Sadness. Nice. You got some. Lucky you. Enjoy that shit. Then all of a sudden it turns to happiness. What? I love it.
But you don't need to name it, right? Like, because sometimes it feels like it's hard to just be like, oh, this is what I'm feeling. So it's just like, because I don't know what I kind of do. I just like, oh, something's going on here, and then it's just like sitting with it, and then like it usually passes.
Yeah, you don't need to name it. Nobody knows what they're talking about anyways.
Yeah, it's just.
Kathy Irish. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Kathy Irish has a comment. She typed in, I find you can recognize the pain and sit with it. Or I'm sorry, I find when you can recognize the pain and sit with it, take your deep breaths, you can learn to respond rather than react, saving you from regrets and overreacting. Not everything needs a response, I've learned. Could be pain, anger, fear, etc. Yeah.
Or maybe none of it. Maybe none of it needs a response or reaction, or maybe you can just love it. Yeah, you can get that far. I don't have to say anything. Just look. Yeah, that's right. Look at all the damage you've done. Look at all the people you've hurt. It's always after. It's always a way to try to get rid of your pain. That's all we're doing. Inflicting pain because we want to get rid of our pain. An eye for an eye. That's the only reason we hurt other people is because we're in pain. We don't want to sit with it.
Hey, Kim, did you unmute yourself? Because you have something, or was that an accident? Oh, maybe. Maybe it was an accident. All right. We've got about 15 minutes left. Plenty of time for more shares.
Is Judy helping?
Great. Judith, is that what you said?
Jim and Kathy, right?
Unmute yourself, whoever you're talking about. I can't hear. I can't tell who you're talking about, Kristen.
It just says Judy. She's not waving anymore. She's down by Pearl. I don't know if you can. Judy,
did you get that, Judy? Oh, Judy.
Yeah, that's me. Oh, yeah. Hi, guys. So I can't help but think of the Rumi poem. Do you remember the Rumi poem? It's called The Guest House. Does anyone remember that? You know, it's a great poem that he wrote about, you know, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have it in front of me, but he says, and Rumi was a poet way long time ago, wise man. He said, it's called The Guest House. He says, every morning, a new arrival, a sorrow, a joy, anger, grief. Welcome them all. They have been sent to clear your house. And it goes on from there. I recommend looking it up, but that what you've been talking about tonight, Art, makes me think of that. You know, just welcoming and noticing and realizing that they are there for a reason, and they bring us closer to, I think, who we are and our natural goodness. So I just wanted to share that. Thanks.
That's amazing. That's right.
Thank you,
It's
Judy.
really amazing, and that's. I mean, we're all sitting here chasing an enriched life. We all want a more deeper, meaningful experience, but we're trying to push away the things that provide for it. Try to have a good romantic comedy or a good movie without sadness and anxiety and laughter. You can't. The movie would be boring. See, so we want this more enriched experience, and it comes with anger and fear and resentment and all of it. And if you push all that stuff away, you don't get to see the movie. You got to feel it just like you feel the movie. The good romantic comedy always has the anxiety in there. You don't know if they're going to get together or stay together. So it has that part. You don't know if they're going to end up together. It has the laughter. It has the tragedy where they separate for a while and you're crying. And then it has the return. They meet at the end and the guy always has a real good line. And then we all feel it. But we don't want it in real life. We want to avoid all that stuff. No, I don't want anyone to leave me for any period. You're mine. I don't want to be a part. Don't leave. Just stay here and make my experience flat. That's preferable.
Awesome. It looks like Kim does have a question. Kim, go ahead.
Okay, I think I unmuted myself.
Yes.
So are you saying when you notice what that feeling is, or the fear, or the whatever it is, it sounds like it's a lot fear for most of us, or a lot of the time. Is it just a matter of it kind of acknowledging it inside yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that what you're doing, or what you should do with that knowledge?
No, it's
my question.
It's the real root, or the real aspect of what's necessary here. The necessary quality that's necessary is the attribution, is to attribute being upset, to attribute being at a dis-ease, to attribute being not okay to the right and proper cause, which is this acknowledgement that I would always be happy, I'd always feel good if I was never scared. So if I can attribute and stay out of the blame world, and if I can just take that second and attribute how I'm feeling, my upset, my dis-ease, my frustration, my anxiety, my whatever it is, and I can just look downward rather than out the world, and I can just look down and say, there it is. I'm scared things aren't going to work out for me. Somebody's in my way. Something's in my way, but I'm scared it's not going to work out for me. It's that attribution, that the humility to attribute that and to look downward and just feel that, rather than going back to domination, rather than going, get out of my way. You're blocking me. You're upsetting me. Stop doing that. It's that responsibility to say the world and the people in it cannot possibly upset me unless I'm scared about something. And if I was told the whole story, and I knew I was always going to be safe, and I was going to go peacefully to the heaven, and that's where I was going to end up, and when I died I was going to have beautiful things, and all my kids were going to be safe, and I'm going to reunite with my family, and everything's going to be good. I'm never going to want for nothing when I get there. If we knew that was true, we'd never get upset again. We would just live our life in peace. And so the only reason that we get upset is that we're fearful it's not going to work out for us. So every time a human being gets upset or angry, that's just what they're saying. I'm fearful it's not going to work out for me. So that acknowledgement, the humility to note that and say that, that's everything. Because now you're not perpetuating the cycle. Now you're not saying, hey, I'm going to cover up that I'm scared, and I'm going to say it to you. And that's what everybody's doing. They're trying to cover up that they're scared, and they say, it's you, and it's your fault. No, you're scared. Every bit of frustration, everything that we ever feel, it all feels the same. It's all the same. It's not going to work out for me. I'm not going to make it. So then you just look and you go, oh, there it is. It takes away the blame and it puts it on the proper cause. Stop blaming. Where are you going to get with the blame? So even if it was true, that you're not upset because you're scared, if it's true and you're just upset because they're doing that, make them stop. Now you got to go out in the world and make everybody stop doing everything. It's a monumental task. You got to stop saying that, and I got to turn the TV off because they're saying that, and I got to stop you from saying that, and my kids got to quit doing that, and my husband's got to stop doing that, and then I'll be at ease. Good luck. And my boss has got to stop doing that, and they got to stop doing that, and that's all day with people. That's their day. Geez, the driver's got to stop doing that. Geez, the government's got to change these roads. They got to stop doing that. Geez, my boss has got to stop doing that. Oh, God, my coworkers, they got to stop doing that. Oh, then my kids, they got to stop doing that. Good luck. Preferable, if you kind of take a look, pay attention, you can find ease with the world not changing at all. And with the people in it not needing to change. How could it? I'm proof. I lived in this world never at ease. The world hasn't changed, and I can now live at ease. How did that happen? So there's evidence. It works. Ease isn't around a corner. It's right here tonight. And by the way, you can have everything and I'm still going to be at ease. Take it all. Take it all and I'll sit here alone like this. Hopefully not. Hopefully somebody will still be here to smile with. But none of the stuff provided any ease. It actually provides less ease. The more stuff you get, the more you're worried about your shit. Watch out for that. Worst thing you can ever do is get a new car. Jesus Christ, you got to walk around it 10 times a day to see what the new ding is. It's exhausting. Got to hold on to that. Phew. There's no ease out there. It's all in here.
You know, Shelly just sent me a question, but I just want to say, you know, how beautiful the last 2 weeks has been. And it's, you know, this conversation is so beautiful, and it's quite an honor and privilege to work alongside, you know, Art and Kristen and this entire team. And the picture we got before Solution Group tonight of, you know, that young man being kind of held by, you know, another client in the house. And it's just, it's kind of this overwhelming feeling right now, gratitude right now that I have for it all. And I'm looking, I get the privilege of like seeing all these faces on this big TV and scrolling through, and you guys at the big house don't see it from the same view as I do, but I'm seeing these faces and I can feel the energy. I can see it, and it's just it's an incredible thing. And so I just really need to express that. But also Shelly just messaged, and she has some people asking how can they donate. Joan Sunquist, thank you so much. She is donating $200 for the camping trip. And she's asking how. So for anybody who would like to donate for the camping trip, you can just simply donate on our website. So battlefieldaddiction.com, click on donate. that goes anytime. You can always donate. You can also donate on Facebook. On Facebook, there's no fees, so that's great. I don't know when people donate on Facebook, so if you don't get a thank you from me, know that that's why. I hate that fact because I get a report way later. So please, if you don't get an acknowledgement, I always send thank yous to donations, but if it's on Facebook, I don't have a way of knowing. But just know that you are so appreciated, and thank you so much for supporting. COVID's done a number on our organizations, as everybody, and so we sure appreciate the generosity. We appreciate all of you who have remained monthly partners during this time. Thank you so much. If you aren't already a monthly partner, you can, please consider becoming one. Maybe it's just $25 a month that you can do, maybe $50, whatever it is. You can sign up as a monthly partner on our website as well. So thank you for supporting the camping trip. We're super excited about that. And what a great timing for all of this with this kind of conversation. It's powerful. It's really powerful. So anyways, that's all I got. And now you can close it up, Art. Oh, wait, Jeffrey, actually, Jeffrey is our final comment, and then let Art close up. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'll talk to Art later on, but I want to know if I can go to the camping trip, and I'd like to help out. I'm financially okay to help out with things, especially with food.
Absolutely, yes.
And one other thing real quick, Art, I think what I took on your last part there was I found a balance. I bought a little rowboat, and I worry about that. And I got my little station wagon. But yeah, the more you get, the more anxiety there is. But there's a balance in there. You can reward yourself, but there's a balance in there that I learned from you guys also. Thanks, you guys. Sorry for talking so much. There's a balance in there.
Yeah.
We love it, Jeffrey. All right. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, I think our life is basically boiled down to what we're paying attention to. I mean, that's it. Your life is what you're paying attention to. Mindfulness is paying attention, and that's what it started with years ago. And, it was a profound day when we found mindfulness because it gave me something else to pay attention to. And mindfulness turned into the self and watching the self and considering its common manifestations, and that turns into all kinds of things like racket and forum type stuff and relationships and commitment, and all of it came true and all of it came around. And it's really just, what are you paying attention to? That's it. That's our life. So now we have this opportunity, and then the responsibility aspect. So pay attention and be responsible. Be responsible for your pain. Quit dumping it on other people if you could. We can't always take it, so we do dump. And none of this stuff that I'm talking about is like, I've arrived and you should come here. All this stuff that I'm talking about is like a goal that I still haven't achieved. So I dumped some pain today. I dump some pain on some folks every day. I just dump less than I used to. That's all. And so we're paying attention. Paying attention now to our inner experience rather than the outer world. And all of a sudden, that paying attention and that movement of paying attention to that first and the outer world second changes everything. And now we have this opportunity to change, only because we pay attention to the right stuff. So that's it. Now we pay attention. We shorten the half-life on negative emotions. We breathe. We work it out. We admit we're scared. We admit we're fearful, and not of snakes or spiders or anything. Just an overall trauma that we have as human beings that we're just not going to make it. We're all not going to make it. And we're sitting here trying to get away from ourselves because we're not going to make it. Guys, we're not going to make it. We're all going to go. We're fighting the inevitable every day, which is traumatic. And we're always operating under this illusion that we don't have to do any work. There's just ease in the outer world. We'll just find it. It'll be with a new girlfriend. It'll be at my next apartment or my next house or my next car or my next job. That's where ease is. It's not now. And when you see all that, then you just go, okay, I got this. I got to pay attention to this and find the ease now. And that's what you're doing. And then as soon as you say, I got to pay attention and I got to find ease now, you'll see the difficulty. And that's okay. You acknowledge the difficulty. Is it going to be less It is going to be difficult, but a lot less difficult than changing the entire world so you can find ease. And that's the mission you've been on before. You've been on the mission of changing everybody in the world and all the places and all the things so you can find ease. This one is difficult, but there's a possibility. You can find ease. You don't have to change the world. You don't have to change anybody in it. It's just there. So it started out in that journey, and it came to a journey of just, you know, this breaking through and connecting with this moment, and then the difficulty of that, paying attention to all the shit that's in the way, and then clearing that with my left hand and try to stabilize with my right hand. But I'm constantly clearing. Oh, that's more of me, more of my shit. Just clearing it out of the window. And then you just arrive someplace where, like Michelle said, which was beautiful, you just feel it throughout the day. It's like a good golf shot. It keeps you coming back. You know, golf sucks. I bash the ball around the whole course all day. I hit a 7 and 8, but I hit one good shot right down the middle of the fairway, and I want to go back tomorrow. That's this. It's not perfect, but it's one good shot. So once again, you guys, it's a true honor, and it's a privilege to get to sit here and do this. And if you could just feel these kids right now in this room and everybody in it, there is so much love and so much freedom here. And I can't wait to get back live to experience it together. But again, thank you all for coming. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. Thank you, everybody. Stephen Birdie, if you raise your hand, unmute yourself to say something real quick while we're chiming out. No, it was a mistake. Okay. All right, guys. So we'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same place. Thanks so much. Have a great week, everybody. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Much love.
Bye.
Mom.
Bye, babe.